Hey, it's Brett, and this is Brett and Some Books. And today we are returning to Horicon, Marsh, Boardwalk. When I was here the last time, it was June, and that's when a lot of life is just starting to really come in itself in this part of Wisconsin. And now we are at the end of the really green season. We're coming into where leaves on the trees, the deciduous trees, change color. Conifers are also a kind of tree that we have here, and they're also known as evergreens in a lot of cases because they don't change color over the seasons like deciduous trees do. They're temperate. There is Marsh up on our right here. I don't know if I went over last time the importance of marshes and what they do for nature and for everybody. Is they are kind of like the kidneys and liver of the earth system. Like in our body, just as in our living earth, we have to get rid of toxins or process things, and marshes are really good at trapping all the water that comes through, and there's so many different forms of life that are in here. They all work together to break things down. It's like there are some bugs that specialize in breaking down heavy metals that are otherwise good for the soil. So if you have a choice, I say leave the leaves where they fall in the autumn, because that provides cover to important insects and other forms of life that we need to keep around. Not just because they're really good for us to enjoy in person, but it's really important to preserve our environment too. So that is another good reason for walks like this. I like to kind of share my feelings and thoughts about things. Now that looks like grass, but I think a lot of time during the summer that part is actually submerged. A lot of what looks like dry land is under cover of water at other times during the year. We're coming just up on the boardwalk now. We'll see how busy it is. Love that yellow on that tree. You can kind of see how many different ways the leaves change color. Very pretty. That's a really nice brown up there, such a soft brown, tannish, if you can see it. I don't know how good this camera really is. But this is the parking lot, and if you're ever riding a bike or a moped across leaves like this, be super careful, because the leaves and condensation change the traction, so your body doesn't calculate properly things that you need to do to stay balanced. So, show you my dashboard here. I like to put bones and driftwood and pine cones up here. Kind of a way to take nature with me, and also it's really fun to have little things like this to give away to people. It connects people to the earth and their surroundings so much more. Just like I make a ton of tumbled rocks, but I'd rather give them away usually. So it's a different time of day from last time, and it's later in the season, so it'll probably be not super busy, and we'll get to look at some really neat things. I like that. You can see just a little bit the seeds. What are these? I don't know. We'll look them up later. I'll add it into the comments. Here's more of them. This guy is sticky. No, that's not the one I was thinking. So, if we look up this tree, that looks to be like a raccoon nest or some kind of animal. Wonder what lives there. Might be an opossum. And look at this. It's like a portal. What's on the other side of that? And now it is about to open up, and we can really compare what we saw in June to what we see today, right now. I'm really hoping, better talk quietly too so I don't scare away the wildlife. I hope we see a turtle. I'm excited to see a turtle. We have water snakes too, or at least in parts of Wisconsin we do. I should imagine that we must have water snakes here in Dodge County. Just as I hoped, the water is really clear, so maybe it would have been better for me to have come earlier when the sun was higher, but we just gotta appreciate it for what it is. All you can do. I was talking with my therapist today, and I was saying that one of my keys to happiness is being impressed by the mundane. If you find the small things to give you joy, it really doesn't matter what your circumstances are, it can't be kept from you. The beauty of a sunset, or how it feels to see a bird you haven't seen ever flying near you. Earlier this year, I was camping at a music festival that's like 500 miles away from where I live, and there were completely different birds, and also this was at a time of heavy bird migration, and it was a music festival. So that extended out to some really interesting ambient noise. And ambient means all around. Just like ambient light. It's not a beam, it's just there. Hope we see a turtle. Won't see too many tadpoles though. The last time that we came here, there was a lot of very young fish for the turtles to feed on. And I don't know how their mating cycle is the third week of October. Although we've been seeing a real change in weather patterns. This is interesting. There's a lot of seeds in the wind right now because the plants that are finishing their life cycle are now spreading the seeds for spring, and that is a really interesting way that all that fuzz collected. I'm pretty certain that's what it is. The white. Interesting. You can see that there's the stream right there, how it moves. Because water doesn't all move at one speed all across the way. Things like depth have a lot more to do with that. Really lucked out on the weather today. It's like 72 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm not very good at calculating over to Celsius, but there's your reference point if you want to. 72 degrees Fahrenheit. And you can see the windmills off in the distance, maybe once we get closer, somewhat. A lot of the trees have already lost their foliage. I came through last week, I think, and there was a lot more happening with the leaves. Got some photographs, I think. I'd really like to see like a really big snapping turtle swim underneath. This is so interesting. It's like a rainforest underneath the water. So a lot of these plants take nitrogen and convert it into oxygen or carbon dioxide. I don't remember. If you know, that's how teamwork works. Not really seeing dragonflies like I did at the beginning of the year. That was really cool. It's also a pretty windy day, so there's a low chance of insects, I bet. Hello. I don't see a whole lot of fish activity either. The higher elevations around here have some really beautiful trees that grow in them. Makes for very fertile land, the way that this is nature's compost bin, kind of. It doesn't smell bad like you might think for being a compost bin. That's just so neat to me. I really like how that is. And you can see kind of how this boardwalk works. Everything is a pontoon. There's empty air in there, which means that it's able to stay above the water because air is lighter than water. And rocks are heavier than water, so if you're looking for rocks, go to the water. You find some really cool rocks inside of streams. And it's easier to find rocks when they're wet. In my experience, someday I'd like to go mining or prospecting. It's like a false bottom there. I was jogging recently in some similar terrain to this, and I missed jumping from one tuft of grass to the other, and my whole leg, my right leg up to my knee, was submerged in muck. So luckily I've seen a couple TV shows that suggested if you ever fall down into quicksand or mud like that, don't stay standing up and try to struggle out, because it'll just suck you in every time you push deeper. It's better to lay toward the outside of where you're going to be headed and redistribute your weight, because then you have less pressure per square inch. And that means that you will not sink as fast, and you're more likely to be on solider ground that you can pull yourself out with. But I also had my friend with me. Oh, I do see a lot of little fish. They're out by the reeds. But if you're in a position where you're sinking into something, I wonder if those are crawdads. It's difficult for me to see very well. The camera is probably better than my vision. But the the other part was using the buddy system like they teach you in Boy Scouts or Scouts. Whenever possible, like I really want to travel and see places, but I've been very deliberate about when and how that happens, because I'd like to have somebody go with me. If you're ever taking a risk, ask yourself if you should find somebody to help. Might save your back, might save your life. It's so vivid underneath that water. One of the reasons I love coming out here so much. And this water is so crystal clear because it's a giant filter here. This is a real treat for the end of October. It's just beautiful out here. And let's see if we can find anything. Alright, that's not gonna make this video any better doing that. So, you can maybe see windmills over here. Yeah. I happen to be a big fan of renewable energy. We need to find more ways to make resources accessible to everybody so we don't have gas pollution impacting people that never use them, and live and operate in places where gas is used to run generators, where cleaner energy could be made available. But there's a lot of times that the choices of the government don't really help. There's a big trade system between industries and politics. People go from being a regulator to being somebody who goes in to bend regulations. So a good government would have better oversight. This is a really neat water effect, isn't it? Yeah, that's a good picture. So, not advocating for throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but I think that the time to prioritize humans over profits is long past due. And preserving these kinds of places are really important in bringing the habitat and environment back into balance as best possible. How tall was this grass when we came in June? I can't wait to go back and compare. I love clouds like this. It's tough to tell the seeds from the bugs right now. It's a lot of wind for both to be blown around. Look at how big of a difference. Okay. Hopefully, I don't think we lost too much. Phone accidentally went off, so we'll be merging this part in. I really hope that the audio isn't trash on this. I feel bad. It's really interesting to see the cattails too. I've always loved cattails. You can see the water starts there, but it's mostly stagnant water. This little ripples looks like the top of thin mints. I could be kidnapped over some thin mints, I'm not gonna lie. I wish you could smell it right now. It's very clean air. I saw somebody mention an app where it tells you what is forageable in areas that you go to. That would be really fun. I could step up my game next summer with something like that. I would be really glad. So much pink and then so much green and yellow. It's almost like time travel. Here's a big important part of the woods too. It's moss. That's some really good stuff. It's another thing that helps convert things into important things that we need. Mushrooms are also really popular around this time, and we might see some if we just look. Look at that. That is interesting enough on its own, isn't it? Look at that. I like it. And there's these little blue berries. I wonder what they are. Not ones I'm gonna eat. Gotta be careful what you eat. Could almost be as bad as McDonald's. I'm bad at getting planes. I saw it, but didn't get it so that we could record it correctly. Oh. Well, we can count a chipmunk. I don't know if you saw it, but I did. This is neat. Like that. I was joking with a friend of mine recently that if I went to Los Angeles, I would probably get hit by a car because I would be so busy looking at all the skyscrapers. This is a little safer place to blank out, just enjoy the moment. I hear it. I'm not good at knowing bird calls. If you know what it is, let me know. And also, please like and subscribe. I've got a lot of different stuff going on right now. I'm reading about a train hopper and organizer that was active about 100 years ago, and gives a pretty in-depth look of that part of life for people during that time. And I also have some footage up from after the walk that I did at Ledge County Park. I was on my way home and uploading the video from my phone then, and I got pulled over for no license plate, which it's true, I had no license plate. But you can look more into what happened with that on the playlist. It'll say Horicon traffic stop. So that playlist will be there if you're interested in finding out about that. It's kind of outside the scope of what I really do with the channel, but also it talks about some ways that you can help me, because I've got a lot of tickets that were unnecessary, and I need money to get Freedom of Information Act requests for the dash cam, the body cam, and the dispatch transcript. But there is some important distinctions in the laws that I think need to be hammered out. So I am going to do what I can and not take any kind of a plea. I'm going to the trial. It's municipal court, so it's not even of really intense legal weight or anything, but they shouldn't be searching the way that they searched. And as somebody who you may have noticed is down on my luck, I don't always get all the bills paid that aren't necessary immediately. And living in between my camper and my van, there's a lot of people that live like that, and a lot of times police departments or small towns won't want outsiders in town, so that results in oftentimes some harassment of people who are just traveling, and then infringements on their privacy. And it's already apparent that people have enough on their plate. I only believe in the good laws, better or worse, it's the truth. Because it's legal to make life-saving medicine 10 times more expensive, but that's not right. And just scared something off the trail. If I were president, we would have nationwide breakfast and lunch, at least for kids. It's a really important part of time of their development. And those are our future country people. They are the people who will be a big part of the world that we all are going into. We should invest. I'm not a parent, but I'm investing for my future mayor or my future president. I want that kid with the capability to be able to focus in class. So we pay for a lot of unimportant things. I think if we made sure everybody, or at least all kids, were able to eat 2 meals a day, it's one of the life hacks I've had as somebody who's poor. Working at restaurants means that you get a free meal, and that is one way to kind of gap a giant hole in the budget. But kitchen jobs aren't extremely great for a lot of people either, so that system isn't worth much to me. These 3 birch trees are so pretty. So, one last look. All the autumn colors. And take care of yourself.